Good morning, folks. It's Andy Stautz at Stautz Law, and we are back with another talk about estate planning topics. Today's kind of a fun one, and it has to do with yesterday's newspaper. So the Wall Street Journal has an article about transfer on death deeds. I've got it right here. When leaving homes to heirs backfires. And it's all about transfer on death deeds, which not every state has. Indiana does, obviously. I've talked about them before. And the article goes through, the basic idea, which I've explained, automatic out of probate transfer of a house or, any property, actually, real property. And, that, like I've said, the mechanism is simple. As part of an overall plan, it's great. But there are lots of things that can go wrong. They're slippery. So a couple of examples in the article are things I've warned about. So one of them is, a transfer restriction in a contract. If you've got a property and for some reason your title to it is encumbered by a contract or whatever, and there's an anti-transfer provision, and you try to use a transfer on death deed, that might violate the contract. Another example is continued insurance coverage. And they use a case in Minnesota where an heir lost the house because the insurer, didn't give him continuing coverage. Indiana's got a law in place to prevent that. You're allowed, a grace period basically to figure out how to insure new property that comes to you that way. But it's interesting to see, and it's the Wall Street Journal. It's a national paper, really, talking about estate planning. So it was fun to see an outside perspective and see how it's presented to a wider audience. And it lines up with my advice, which is great tool. You got to know what you're doing. So if you want to transfer on death deed as part of your plan, come talk to me. I like to do complete plans, but sometimes I'll prepare a deed sort of as a one-off. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. I'll try to link to the article, see if there's an online version, link to that in the text description. But hope that was a fun one. See you next time. Bye.